everyone. This month's macro and market outlook is focused on Union Budget 2025. The FY26 Union Budget was framed with the stated intention of adhering to the fiscal glide path while supporting demand in the light of economic slowdown. In navigating this delicate balance, the Finance Minister has sought to maintain fiscal consolidation while reducing tax rates for the middle class to boost consumption. The target for gross fiscal deficit for the centre in FY26 is 4.4% of GDP, down from 4.8% in FY25. Aside from the marginal optimism in income tax estimates, most fiscal projections appear credible. The highlight of the budget was an attempt to boost consumption by reducing the tax incidence on middle class. Income tax structure has been revised in such a way that income below Rs 12 lakh per annum will be taxed at nil. This rate was Rs 7 lakh previously. Further, the tax slabs have been changed such that individuals with income above Rs 12 lakh will see a lower annual tax incidence ranging from an annual savings of Rs 80,000 to Rs 1.1 lakh per person. This is expected to result in an aggregate tax savings of Rs 1.1 trillion, that is 0.3% of GDP, with most of the benefits accruing to households with income ranging from Rs 10 to 35 lakhs, thus creating, hopefully, a positive impetus for discretionary consumption demand. We assess that some 10 million taxpayers fall in this income bracket, and their take-home salary could improve by 4 to 7%. Beyond the numbers, deregulation and improving the ease of doing business have been the central themes of the budget. It highlights the importance of simplifying permissions, documentation, certifications, and licenses, especially for MSMEs, which is expected to boost employment as well. The budget also appears to be favorable for the solar sector, with increased allocation for the solar rooftop projects. The focus on power sector reforms continues, with states that undertake these reforms being incentivized through additional borrowing limits. Building on the success of the first round of asset monetization plan, the government has announced a second asset monetization plan for 2025 to 30, aiming to raise Rs 10 trillion for new projects. Additionally, the push for lithium-ion batteries and other critical minerals needed for electric vehicles and electronics also remain a key priority. While the consumption boost has come in the form of revenue foregone, the capital expenditure allocation has increased by 10%. Sectors such as power, urban infrastructure, housing, and metro development have received greater focus. For rural areas, spending is expected to rise mainly due to the Jal Jeevan Mission, while allocations for MGNREGA, which is rural employment, and PM Kisan, farmers' income transfers, are expected to remain flat on a YOY basis. Tweaks to custom duty has been thought of as a mean to attract foreign investment and boost manufacturing. As a first step, custom tariff slabs have been pruned down to 8 slabs from 15 previously for the industrial goods. The budget also proposes to levy not more than one cess or surcharge. This will exempt social welfare surcharge on 82 tariff lines that are subject to a cess. Tariffs have been exempted for many items for promoting domestic manufacturing, for example, lithium-ion battery manufacturing, or if somebody wants to import machinery for making lithium-ion batteries and EV batteries or mobile phone. Handicraft leather exporters have been given a duty-free import allowance. There are certain trade facilitation measures, for example, the duration of licenses needed for handicraft exporters has been increased. Some relaxation has also come for some segment of textile manufacturers. In this regard, there are a few points to note. Economic Survey, which was released a day prior, pegs India's FY25 growth at 6.5% in FY25, but from 6.3 to 6.8% in FY26, which is short of the desired 7% level. Corporate sector salaries at an aggregate is growing at 6 to 8% in last 5 to 6 quarters. In many a segment, it will lift up this growth to mid-teens, which is positive for urban sector income and hopefully consumption. Further, there was a sharp miss in multiple key spends in FY25, such as rural-oriented schemes and many pockets of capex, perhaps largely explained by the months lost in election. Government hopes to do better next year by utilizing the targets. Given these two factors, while budget hasn't gone all out to support growth, we do think that the fiscal stimulus will be better than FY25. To add, monetary policy is also expected to get easier. As such, we are leaning to 6.5 to 7% range for FY26 growth versus our estimate of a likely 6.3% in FY25. It would be prudent to highlight the risks too. And risk is the changing world order on tariffs, global trade, and investments. That clearly presents a much bigger uncertainty now. Fiscal roadmap has been outlined for next 5 years. Centre targets to reduce its debt to GDP ratio to 50 plus minus 1% by FY31 compared to 57% in FY25. Overall, this budget underscores the government's continued commitment towards fiscal discipline. We work backwards and estimate that if India's nominal growth stays around 10.5% for the remainder of the decade, this target can be achieved with 4% deficit from FY27 onwards. However, if growth is slightly better, say at around 11% or more, no further consolidation may be required from the centre. The stock markets were flat on Saturday. This was a special trading session. Consumption stocks reacted positively for the reasons we have just discussed. However, it does not seem intuitive that all this money which will come in the form of savings will necessarily flow back into consumption, given that most earners at this level were already stretched as they were consuming close to or beyond their income levels. It could also be partly used to pay back the debt. That area is still a bit uncertain. On the other hand, there were hopes of waiver of AGR dues in telecom, extension to concessional tax rate for manufacturing sector, scale up of PM Kisan budget which did not come by. One good takeaway is that there was no real bad news. Sometimes that is a good news. But all said, budget is now a history. Tariff actions by the US government presents much bigger uncertainty to growth, currency and market outlook. One of the biggest changes in our outlook is now that we are neutral equity versus an underweight stance whole of last year. We still find large cap to be much more favorable from valuation standpoint versus small and mid cap. From a debt market perspective, net market borrowings are set at approximately INR 11.5 trillion, with the gross borrowing budgeted at INR 14.8 trillion. While the higher gross borrowing number may be seen as slightly negative compared to the expectation, the demand-supply balance remains favorable on a broader level. This will also be supported by the need for the RBI to conduct OMO purchases in the near term, given the pressure on core liquidity. The focus from a market perspective will be more on RBI's actions going forward. We do think that the pressure to support growth will fall much more on the RBI going forward. Signing off for this month. Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.